What's up, guys? I'm Mike from StockedUp, and welcome back to the Stocks with Mike and Tom show. We have some pretty important news to go over in today's video. Today is a very big day in the political environment. We're going to be talking about that in a couple minutes, but we also have to cover some important news with Amazon and Google. And at the end of the video, we have an $8.4 million option. Make sure you guys stick around to go over that. It's pretty important. Overall, we have some good plays and some good news. So make sure to stick around to the end of the video. And if you guys aren't subscribed already, don't forget to subscribe. Tom and I post brand new videos every single day. But Tom, what happened in the market today?
The big news in the market today is that CNBC reports that a GOP pollster says that the next 48 hours are going to be among the most worst ever for Republicans, and the Dow closes more than 150 points higher as oil surges and the Georgia runoff looms on. The markets want certainty, which will happen with a political gridlock, but Biden becomes president and the Senate is held by Republicans is what the market wants at the very minimum. But the thing is that even if Biden becomes president and the Senate is held by Republicans, I know that's what the market wants and the market should go up off of that. But as you can see, as of right now, the market is pretty much going red. Hopefully it can't keep red going into today, but at the very end of the day, it did start to go a little bit red, and it did yesterday among this political news. So hopefully the political news can actually go in our favor and the market ends up going up. But we'll just have to see what happens over the next couple of days. And I'm not trying to get political at all here, but at the same time, these political things really affect the market. And you can see how much the market really moved today. Like, it had a pretty big zigzag to the upside, which was a good thing for a lot of traders today. But at the same time, a lot of people were expecting the market to maybe go down off of the news. So that might actually hurt people in the short term. But at least at least we saw the market kind of pop back up today. Hopefully this news can be good and we see a gridlock and the market goes up, but anything can really happen right now. So really watch for what happens tomorrow and what happens in the Georgia elections later tonight.
Yeah, for sure. And the main thing the markets want is a political gridlock. The markets love certainty, as we all know. And right now, Biden is set to take the presidency. And if the Republicans hold the Senate, that would give the market a lot of certainty. And that's really what the market wants, which is a gridlock. So we'll definitely be looking for that later today in the news. But Tom, what's this news with Amazon and Delta?
Yeah, Amazon, which is ticker symbol AMZN, actually bought Boeing jets from Delta and WestJet as aircraft prices continue to drop. And Amazon is buying 11 used Boeing 767-30 jets as it pushes for faster delivery amid a pandemic-fueled surge in online orders. So they're pretty much buying up airline companies' actual airplanes right now, as in the 767-300 jets, to try to go ahead and get their deliveries a little bit sooner than usual. And while that should help Amazon, you can see they're up around 1% today. But I would think it would help Boeing more than anyone, which ended up popping about 4.4% at the close. You can see there was a little bit of a drop here in after hours on TOS, but that could have been a glitch or just a random fill at some random order. But either way, Boeing had a pretty good pop today, up to around 212 at close, which is a pretty good number for Boeing, especially considering if we look at the daily chart, how much that they have been going up and down over the past few months. 212 is not a very bad number at all. And I really like the movement to the upside out of Boeing after this news came out today. And obviously any news combined with Amazon is great for any company, especially a company like Boeing, where Amazon might buy a lot more of their other jets, in the future.
Gotcha. And Amazon has just been killing it because of COVID. Their stock price went from about lows of, what is that, about 1,700, and they hit highs all the way around 3,500 in 2020. So they've been killing it lately. And obviously this isn't huge news, but it is good news nonetheless for Amazon. And I'm sure it even will benefit Delta a little bit, which has been struggling this year as other airlines have been too. But what's the news with Google? I heard there's some union news.
Yeah, I mean, this is actually good news for the workers, but bad news for the company, unfortunately. And Alphabet's workers union announcement Monday represents a tipping point for employees at the Google parent company, according to CNBC. And this is pretty big because if their employees go ahead and announce that, hey, we're going to go ahead and join a union and make a union, no matter like what you guys say, that could be a pretty bad thing for Google as a company overall, because they're going to have to pay a lot more for benefits, a lot more for salary and all that stuff. And I'm not saying unions are a bad thing. I'm not picking a side with this. I'm just saying that for the stock itself, that might be a pretty bad short-term scenario for the stock. Now, in the long term, that might be pretty good if Google goes ahead and gets some pretty good workers working under them, and etc. And they get some valued workers that could go ahead and make the company rise. In the long term, that would be fantastic. But in the short term, usually union news has a pretty bad effect on companies because companies are going to end up having to pay more in incentives and in healthcare and in any type of thing, that the union requires, or that the union, contracts go ahead and say that they need in them. And that's going to really hurt Google in the short term. And like I said, guys, I'm really not trying to pick a side. I'm just saying, because unions are a pretty big concept in our fabric of society today. Lots of companies use unions, especially modern day companies that are larger like Google. So hopefully they can go ahead and integrate this the best way that they possibly can. But in the short term, I would possibly expect some red to come out of this news, just given the past predicament with stocks that go ahead and announce this type of news.
Gotcha. Well, let's get right into our Discord member of the day. Today's member of the day is Marama Dina. And this person is always very positive within the Discord chat, especially the SAT modeling chat. Thank you, Marama Dina, for all your kind words and all your positivity, and for always being so active in helping other members. If you guys want to trade the same options as Tom and I every single day, you can click the Stocked Up Options Alerts link in the description down below. But Tom, let's get right into the momentum plays for tomorrow. The first one is Uber to the upside.
Yeah, Uber actually did pretty great today, and they are approaching an all-time high around $56, but go ahead and make them break 54.20 to the upside, and I would really look for that $55 to $56 level if they break that.
Gotcha. With the next one, we have Abbott.
ABT, this one is also to the upside, make them break 111.
All right, and then we have NTES.
NTES, make them break 102.
All right, and then we have FSLR.
FSLR, yeah, this is another solar stock here, actually going down. Make them fall below $91.
Good stuff. So we are eyeing Uber, Abbott, NTES to the upside, and then we are eyeing FSLR to the downside. These are just for potential quick day trades only if they break the levels Tom listed. But now let's get right into the $8.4 million options trade for tomorrow. We are looking at the FUBO 30 strike call options that expire this Friday, January 8th. So looking at FUBO, it had a pretty nice recovery today. It wasn't huge, but 13% is pretty big. I just can't believe the volatility on this stock in the past week or two. It went from about 61 all the way down to about 24. Now it's starting to bounce back up. We are looking at the 30 strike calls. I can see a recovery back to 30. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I'm really looking at the 100 SMA here. You can see how it followed this purple line down. It ended up falling down below it right there, and then pretty much staying below it till it touched it again on Tuesday, which it actually fell below again. And then on Wednesday and Thursday, it actually fell below it once again. So now we're actually finally above it. So we might be coming back to the upside, which would be great for FUBO and all the people who bought in. I know a lot of people were buying into this stock around $40 and $50 a share. So hopefully this stock can hold up. Hopefully they listened to us and sold some cash secured puts on this around 30, which would have been a great level to get in. I still think this is a good stock possibly for the long term, given that they do sports streaming on TV. But really, I like these calls for the upside here. $30 calls. It's not too far out of the money, and we actually went above those earlier today. So hopefully tomorrow and the rest of the week we can possibly have at least a little bit of a pop back to the upside, maybe back up to like 35 or possibly $36. That would be a pretty safe spot to me, in my opinion, back to the upside. But we'll just have to see what happens with this volatile stock.
Gotcha. So this would be a risky trade, definitely. It is a little bit out of the money, like you were talking about, but it's nothing crazy. I think the best way to go about trading this is just like a momentum play. So if we see FUBO come pre-market or in the morning with a lot of upwards momentum, I think it can be a good trade. But obviously, don't just blindly jump into FUBO to the upside. You definitely need a break or confirmation of some sort, but it definitely is notable to see this options activity, especially for how much it dropped. So I'll definitely have my eyes on FUBO come tomorrow morning. But let's get right into our questions from the previous episode. With the first question, we have Frank Sinatra saying, today was a swell day for NIO and BNGO. So Tom, let's take a look at these stocks. We could see NIO had a pretty boring day today, came down a little bit during the day, but ended up having a pretty strong close. And then BNGO had a lot of momentum the past couple of days, but is finally starting to pull back. So what are you seeing for NIO on a technical level?
Yeah, and on NIO, I'm actually seeing a little bit of a head and shoulders on a daily level here, around $54 to $55. You can see that on a daily chart, there's a pretty good head and shoulders forming. But keep in mind that this movement actually already happened today. So we hit that resistance around 54.50 and then fell down quite a bit today in intraday. You can see on the 15-minute chart here in pre-market, we hit that high around 54.40, and then we ended up falling all the way down to around 50 or around $51, and then popping all the way back up to around 53.30. So it was a pretty volatile day for NIO overall. And the thing was, it played pretty well off of that head and shoulders. Hopefully it can break that to the upside here, and we can get some more upside movement off of this stock, because I know a lot of people hold this to the upside. But as far as BNGO goes, I really actually like that possibly to the downside. Given the intraday movement, it has went up quite a bit over the past few days, popping from about $1.45 at the minimum to the top of $7.24. This is an insane stock, moving really drastically to the upside. And I'm not surprised to see it actually start to fall down over the next couple of days. This is a stock I personally would not get into, but I would start to look at possibly NIO. But this stock is way different than NIO.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Definitely. There's a ton of differences there. But looking at NIO, usually what we see is when Tesla is running up, we normally see NIO run up and other EV stocks. And the EV sector isn't the only sector that runs in sympathy. But in terms of the short term future on NIO, I think a lot of it is going to be influenced by Tesla as well. And as always, anytime we get some big EV news, that could always make a big impact. So I'll definitely keep my eyes out for NIO and Tesla for the next couple days. With the next question, we have Rich saying, Draftkings looking good if it hits around $43. What do you think? Also, BABA dropped like the market, but bounced back at 227, which I think is a good sign as well. Thanks again for the vids. I'm glad I can start the year right with this community. So thank you so much for that comment. And let's take a look at DraftKings. So Tom and I both like DraftKings for the long term. I like the way it's trending too. They actually had quite the reversal today. They opened lower around $44 and then came all the way back up to around $47.50. So it was up about 6% today, which is always good to see. DraftKings, I think it's really good to sell cash secured puts on them. The IV is pretty high. It's not insanely high, but it's high enough to get some nice premiums to get DraftKings at a great price. Like, for example, if you sell like the DraftKings 35 strike put that expires in February, that can get you a great win-win situation if you like DraftKings for the long term. Personally, I think that's the way to go. And then taking a look at BABA, Tom, what are you seeing?
Yeah, BABA actually looks pretty good back to the upside here over the next couple of days. It actually went very flat today at the $240 resistance, which is a pretty big resistance. You can see it's hit that over the past few days and then actually fallen down. But hopefully BABA can pop back above that and maybe rise back up to $260. Whenever we look at a daily chart, that level also is pretty large. In the past, anywhere between 230 and 240 has proven to be a pretty unproven level so far. So it either hit a resistance there and went down, or it hit a support there and went up. So we'll just have to be careful and see what goes on with this stock over the next couple of days. And their CEO, Jack Ma, was actually apparently reported as missing yesterday. But this morning he went ahead and came out as being found. So apparently he was found, and he's just staying low right now because he made some bad comments about China. You know, he had to go ahead and lay low over the past few days because of China, and that's possibly why BABA gapped down the way it did.
Gotcha. So with the next question, we have Derek A saying, you guys think NIO might peak this week before NEO Day? I'm thinking it's going to end up between $57.50 and $60. So be very careful with hyped up catalysts like this. I remember a couple months ago, there was so much hype behind Tesla's battery day and then certain Tesla earnings releases. Be very careful around hyped up events. Typically, the options prices tend to rise. And then also, if the event does not meet expectations, the stock can fall and it can be a very risky event to trade. So just be careful. That's a pretty big move, but NEO has proven to have big moves, obviously. So it's definitely possible, but personally, I think it's more likely than not that NIO will not be at like the $60 level by the end of this week. And the market makers don't see that either. So it's very risky, but obviously NIO is a pretty volatile stock. So with that being said, Tom, do you have any last minute stocks, options, or any insight for the market for tomorrow?
I'm actually still watching AMD, which actually did a perfect head and shoulders like I had said it would yesterday. You can see it actually hit that shoulder there, ended up coming back to the downside, and now it's staying below the 1,000 SMA. I'm really going to be watching this for a pretty big level back to the upside. You can see it's pretty much stayed below it ever since Tuesday of a few weeks ago, about 3 weeks ago, and it was pretty. Those are pretty good levels around December 21st or December 22nd. I think that if we pop back above 93.40 to the upside tomorrow, we could see a pretty good upside move out of AMD, possibly back up to 96 or $98, which would be around the highs. Or if we pop below 92, we could start to see a possible fall back to the downside. But I think AMD is going to be a pretty big stock to watch. It's been one of the bigger stocks this year, especially growth wise, rising all the way from 20 to around $100 a share. So hopefully they can hold their levels. But I think that in the short term, this head and shoulders might make them go down to the downside. But I think that the overall market will be the big factor here, especially with the Senate news and all of the political news going on.
All right, sounds good. Thank you everyone for watching this video. If you aren't subscribed to our channel already, don't forget to subscribe. Tom and I post brand new videos every single day. And if you guys want to trade the same options as Tom and I every single day, you can click the Stocked Up Options Alerts link in the description down below. As always, if you have any questions, let us know in the comments down below. But other than that, thanks for watching.